If you're over 60 and believe your daily morning walk is the safest way to stay healthy, I need you to pause and listen carefully. You might think that steady walking each day, rain or shine, is your golden ticket to heart health and longevity, but as a heart specialist, I've seen too many seniors collapse suddenly during or shortly after a simple walk. People who never smoked, who ate clean, who exercised daily, just like the 6'3" man I'll tell you about today. He had walked every single morning for 5 years without fail. No chronic illness, no warning signs. And then, one morning, during a regular stroll through the park, he collapsed. By the time he reached the hospital, it was too late. A massive heart attack. His son, a subway coordinator, stood there in disbelief. How could someone so disciplined just go like that? The truth is, even the most well-meaning exercise habits can become dangerous if done the wrong way, especially as the body ages. It wasn't the walking that harmed him, it was how and when he walked. Today, I'm going to share the 3 most common but overlooked mistakes older adults make with morning exercise habits that can silently push the heart past its limit and lead to sudden cardiac death, because staying active is essential, but only when it's done wisely. Let's take a closer look. 1. Starting too fast. Walking too fast, especially early in the morning. For many older adults, the cool air and quiet of early morning feel like the perfect time to walk. It's calm, peaceful, and energizing, but that very sensation can be misleading. At dawn, your body is still transitioning from rest. Blood pressure is naturally higher. Your heart rate is slower. And your blood vessels are not yet fully responsive. Jumping straight into a fast-paced walk at this time, especially without a proper warm-up, can shock your cardiovascular system. Here's what most people don't realize. As we age, the heart and blood vessels lose some of their flexibility. They don't respond to sudden changes in demand the way they once did. When you begin walking too quickly, your heart needs to pump faster to supply oxygen to your muscles. But if your blood vessels are still constricted from rest, that increased demand can outpace what your system is able to deliver. This leads to a mismatch in oxygen supply to the heart, creating a dangerous window where the risk of a heart attack spikes, especially for those with underlying heart disease or undiagnosed artery blockages. And the risk is even higher in the morning, when blood pressure tends to peak due to hormonal shifts like the cortisol surge. Combine that with sudden movement and you have the perfect storm. A rapid start, elevated pressure, and tight arteries mean the heart must work harder with less support, and sometimes it just can't keep up. This is why I always tell my senior patients, never start your walk at full speed. Begin slowly, allow your body to wake up, your joints to loosen, and your heart to adjust. A gentle pace for the first 5 to 10 minutes can make all the difference, because walking is good for your heart only if your heart is ready for the walk. 2. Pushing too hard without listening to your body or the seasons. For many people, exercise is all about determination. Pushing through discomfort, ignoring fatigue, and sticking to a strict routine no matter the weather. It sounds like discipline, but for older adults, especially those in their 60s or beyond, that mindset can quietly create more harm than good. What most people don't realize is that your cardiovascular system is highly sensitive to changes in temperature, effort, and environment. In the spring and autumn, blood vessels expand and contract easily, but in the summer heat, vessels dilate more, lowering blood pressure and making you feel dizzy or weak after even a short walk. In the winter cold, vessels tighten, causing your blood pressure to spike unexpectedly. If you don't adjust your exercise routine for these seasonal shifts, you may be pushing your heart into unsafe territory. And it's not just the seasons, it's your daily condition. Many older adults wake up stiff, slightly dehydrated, or underrested, but still try to walk the same distance at the same pace as if every day were identical. They ignore warning signs like shortness of breath, joint pain, or feeling faint. They treat consistency as the goal when flexibility is what the body truly needs. Overexertion without adaptation weakens your heart's ability to regulate itself. One day, your system is just a little slower than usual. You start strong, keep going out of habit, but the pressure builds silently. The heart races, oxygen supply lags, and what began as a simple walk becomes a dangerous cardiovascular strain. Instead of treating your walk like a performance, treat it like a conversation with your body. Ask how it feels. Notice how your breath responds, how your legs carry you, and how your heart reacts as you go. If the temperature is high, walk shorter distances in shaded areas and avoid peak sun hours. If it's cold, warm up longer indoors before heading outside. Adjust your pace, time, and expectations with the season and your condition, because true strength after 60 doesn't come from pushing harder. It comes from knowing when to ease up, when to adapt, and when to rest. That wisdom can protect your heart far more than any extra mile ever will. 3. Skipping warm-up, ignoring cool down, and sitting down immediately after exercise. One of the most overlooked dangers in senior fitness isn't the exercise itself, it's what happens before and after. Too many older adults start their walks without properly warming up and end them by sitting down immediately. At first glance, these habits seem harmless. But for a heart that's aged, for muscles that have lost elasticity, and for vessels that are less responsive, these moments can trigger real problems. Warming up is not just a suggestion, it's your body's signal to begin adjusting. As you age, your cardiovascular system needs more time to increase blood flow, raise core temperature, and coordinate oxygen delivery. Jumping straight into brisk walking without this transition forces your heart to accelerate suddenly. While your vessels may not be ready to handle the rush, this mismatch can cause irregular heartbeat, dizziness, or worse, reduced blood flow to the brain. Likewise, cooling down is more than just catching your breath. During exercise, blood is redirected to your working muscles, especially in the legs. If you stop abruptly and sit down, gravity causes blood to pool in those muscles. Blood return to the heart slows, and cerebral circulation drops. This is why so many older adults feel lightheaded, nauseated, or even faint after a walk, especially if they go from fast movement to a cold bench without stretching or pacing down. The mistake becomes even more dangerous in colder weather. Sitting after exercise in the cold tightens blood vessels rapidly and can disrupt blood pressure regulation. It increases the risk of arrhythmia or, in serious cases, sudden cardiac events. I've seen patients who walk daily, stay hydrated, and eat well only to suffer complications because they didn't transition safely between movement and rest. Here's what to do instead. Before you begin walking, spend 5 to 10 minutes doing light mobility movements, arm circles, ankle rolls, gentle leg swings. This primes your joints and activates circulation. When your walk is done, don't stop cold. Walk slowly for another 5 minutes. Then stretch your legs, calves, and back. While standing, only sit down once your breathing is steady and your heart rate has returned to baseline. These small adjustments protect your heart, support your brain, and ensure that your body can shift safely between states of activity and recovery, because after 60, it's not just about how far you walk, it's about how wisely you begin and end. Those minutes before and after can mean the difference between long-term strength and sudden collapse. Conclusion. The lesson we must learn. Too often, we believe that exercise is always good. As long as we're moving, we're doing something right. But the truth is, as we age, it's not just what we do that matters. It's how we do it, when we do it, and whether it fits the condition of our body on that particular day. Movement without awareness, intensity without preparation, and habits without adaptation can quietly become threats rather than protection. The story of the 63-year-old man who collapsed during his morning walk isn't just a tragedy, it's a wake-up call. He was disciplined, consistent, and seemingly healthy, but discipline without flexibility and routine, without listening to the body, can be dangerous. What he needed wasn't more effort. It was smarter effort. He needed awareness. This is the lesson. As we get older, the body changes. The heart becomes more sensitive to stress. The blood vessels lose elasticity. The nervous system reacts more slowly, and the margin for error becomes much smaller. That means our approach to exercise must evolve, warm up gently, adjust intensity based on weather, mood, and strength, hydrate well, never skip the cool down, and most importantly, don't ignore warning signs: tightness in the chest, unusual fatigue, lightheadedness, or shortness of breath are not things to brush off. True health isn't about pushing harder every day. It's about making adjustments with wisdom. Longevity doesn't come from how long or fast you walk. It comes from knowing when to slow down, when to rest, and how to train with care, not pride. Because at this stage of life, your greatest strength isn't in your legs, it's in your ability to adapt. That's how you protect your heart. That's how you preserve your independence. That's how you live longer. Not just more